All right, let's dive in. Today's story is all about money, morals, and one single decision that could literally change everything for a company. We're calling it the Arsenal Paradox.
And this quote, it just nails the core of our story. You see, in the world we live in now, it's not just if you make money, but how you make it. People are watching. And for the firm at the center of our story today, this isn't some abstract philosophical idea. Nope, it is their single biggest problem.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Meet our main character, if you will. A company called Meridian Capital. They're a mid-sized asset management firm, and they have just walked into what seems like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, to really get a feel for Meridian, you gotta understand their size. We're talking about a firm that's managing over $2.3 billion. So yeah, they are a serious player, a real success story. And they got there by sticking to a very, very specific philosophy.
And here's what that philosophy looks like. They see themselves as shrewd, unsentimental. You see that term, sector agnostic? All that means is they don't care where the money comes from, tech, healthcare, whatever, as long as it performs. They've always prided themselves on being, as they put it, unburdened by anything except that bottom line.
And that exact way of thinking, well, it's led them right to this moment. There is an absolute boom happening in defense technology. We're talking about the kind of returns that could set up the company for decades to come. I mean, on paper, it is a perfect match for their strategy. But you knew there was a but, right? There was a huge catch.
Right, and this is where things get really, really messy. Because the problem they're facing isn't a legal one, it's an ethical one. And man, it goes straight to the heart of why Meridian even exists.
So, at the center of all this is this legal thing called fiduciary duty. It sounds complicated, but it's actually super simple. It's a mandate with one single goal. Meridian's job, their legal obligation, is to make their clients the most money they possibly can. That's it. End of story.
But here's the paradox in all this. The very reason this defense investment is a goldmine, global conflict, instability, is also a huge ethical red flag for some of their most important investors. Think about clients like big university endowments. They're getting more and more particular about where their money goes, and profiting from war, that's a tough pill to swallow.
So what you have are these two giant forces, just pulling in opposite directions. On one side, you've got the law saying, make more money. And on the other, you have the investors saying, make money the right way. And poor Meridian, they're stuck right in the middle of this tug of war. And that brings the whole firm to this massive crossroads. This isn't just a simple choice about one investment. No, this is a choice about who they are, who they want to be. Is it about profit or is it about principle? So just for a second, before we lay out the options, what would you do? If you were in charge, what's the call? Because trust me, it is not nearly as black and white as it seems. Okay, so Meridian is basically looking down two completely different roads. Path number one is the path of profit. They just double down on who they've always been, chase those insane returns, and, do their traditional duty. Path number two, that's the path of principle. This is where they say, okay, the world's different now, and they decide to line up with modern values, even if it means walking away from the opportunity of a lifetime.
Look, whatever they decide, this isn't about the next earnings report. Not at all. This decision is going to define what this company is for years to come. I mean, the stakes, they literally couldn't be higher.
And the trade-off is it's so stark you can't miss it. The chance to make historic, incredible amounts of money comes with an equally massive risk to their reputation. The more profit they chase, the more they put their entire brand on the line. It's risk versus reward, sure, but this time, it feels like the soul of the company is the prize.
So let's just game this out for a second. If they choose profit, okay, they deliver on their promise of top-tier performance, but they might burn bridges with the very clients they need to survive long-term. Now, what if they choose principle? Well, they could reinvent themselves as this modern, conscientious firm, but they'd have to sit there and watch a competitor swoop in and grab that generational opportunity. Ouch.
So, you see, right? This goes way beyond just one investment deal. This is an identity crisis. Are they going to stay the course, be that shrewd, unsentimental money-making machine they've always been? Or are they going to become something new, a firm with a conscience?
Okay, let's pull the camera back for a minute. Because here's the thing. Meridian's problem isn't just their problem. This exact same struggle is happening in boardrooms all over the world right now, and
That brings us right back to why we're calling this the Arsenal paradox.
What we're looking at with Meridian is basically a test case for the entire future of finance. The world is getting more complex, right? More connected. And that old, simple rule of just make money no matter what, well, it's starting to crumble. Companies everywhere are being forced to figure out this balance between profit and, well, principles. It goes back to that first quote, doesn't it? Capital is no longer silent.
And so that leaves us with one final, really important question. It's the question Meridian has to answer, but honestly, it's a question for all of us. In an age of conflict, in a world that feels more unstable every day, what is the real cost of those returns? What's the true price of profit?